All right. So it's year 2014 this time, and I'm playing Henry Doktorski, a Class A player, 1950, solid. We met a few times. I think we played 3 times. And he beat me once, actually, when I blundered badly. I remember that game. And I managed to beat him twice. And I think this was right after my loss. I was playing with feelings of revenge and lots of energy on the board. I remember that. Now, a couple of words about Henry. He teaches chess and he plays the accordion with like symphony orchestras from all around the US. Very, very good musician. He wrote a book that became a bestseller. He invited me to his party once. There was people were smoking cigar and whiskey. Apparently, I couldn't make it, but I'm sure it was tons of fun. So really colorful character and real gentleman. And he had a fun style too. So every game we had was really a good time. All right, e4. I'm white. He's black. This is a Caro Kann. Knight g3, bishop g6, and here h4 is the main line, and something like h6 to the threat is of course h5 to trap the bishop. The bishop has nowhere to go. Right. So h6 is played, and then there was a lot of debate about whether white should play bishop d3 here or play h5 first, bishop h7, which is the main line, and only then, knight f3 first, knight d7, bishop d3, and takes, and e6, and so on and so forth. This is known as the main line. Now, this is very well known. It was established, by the way, that the pawn on h5 by theoreticians, that it is an asset, and white should play this. It gains lots of space, and in the ending it could be a liability, but in general it's a good idea to put it here. Of course, I knew this, and I'm sure he does too, because this is the most common approach. But I chose a different way. I played bishop c4. Now, this was really common in the 50s and 60s, I think. But since then, antidotes were found, so it's not played as often anymore. h4, so the h-pawn still goes forward. The bishop really needs more breathing space, right? h6 is natural. And we put the knight here. Then the idea is we're gaining a tempo by knight f4, like this, and here. So there's a lot of moves here. There's castling, there's queen e2. A lot of moves make sense, but try to convince yourself that there is a weakness in the black camp. And it's here, right? Already 2 of my pieces are looking there. So queen e2 makes sense from that perspective. You bring a third piece like that. Castling makes sense. There's a lot of moves. You could already consider taking, actually. I don't know if it works. It probably doesn't work. But the point is, black has 2 moves, right? Bishop out somewhere, maybe e7, and then castle. So can we do any kind of damage in 2 moves? That's the whole question. And understanding that the next move is bishop e7 for black. There's an annoying move, and I've played this more than once, and somehow it managed to confuse the opponent every single time I played. Knight h5. You're saying simply I'm gluing your bishop to the defense of this little g7 pawn here. So it just makes it difficult to develop. Knight d7, Henry played, I castled, and still the problem remains, right? You can't play bishop e7. That's the whole point. Now I wonder if he played knight b6, which we'll look at, and oops, I already showed you what happened. That's okay. but maybe just take, actually this way, I think that way, right? But then the pawn hangs, so I can't do that. And if queen takes, then knight f6, and black must be okay, I'm guessing. So this would be natural, which I guess proves that knight gh5 isn't anything to be afraid of. Maybe here is, well, here instead of castling, computer's saying c3 is better for some reason. And now the same line, why is that? Now knight h5. Okay, the point is a pawn's defended. So we're waiting, right? This is actually really subtle, but it's good to know. Castling undefends the h pawn, which makes a lot of variations not as advantageous for us. Whereas c3, which is a move I have to play anyway because d4 is kind of weak in the long run, that'd be about equal. So anyhow, I castled, and knight b6 kind of felt wrong because the knight is defended here, right? And knights were defended, but now they're not. It looked kind of strange to move the knight away from the defense of the king side, is what I'm trying to say. So pause the video, unless you've already seen what I did, which I kind of showed you for a second. Try to understand what's white's idea. The whole setup doesn't make sense, and actually white is worse unless you find the right move here. But don't just find the move. Try to see a little bit further. Pause the video. Did you pause the video? I'll wait. All right. Bishop e6. Boom. We have a very narrow time window, right? This is the time. Take. Well, an opponent I had, I think, played Bishop e7 in a similar position, but okay, then for one thing I can just take it, and there's that. But also if you just simply go back, you just want a clean pawn and you're very happy. So of course Henry took, I took. There is nothing else to consider. I guess inserting this one was a line, but there's a lot of lines to look at, and still white is doing excellent. But he took, I took. Queen d7. Well, it's difficult to decide where to put the queen, right? Queen e7 kind of blocks the bishop even further. Also, it lines up the king and queen, so rook e1 will be super strong. Well, winning, actually. Queen c8 looks odd. Queen d7, maybe an okay move. It's difficult. Engine saying queen e7 is actually best somehow, but that's very difficult to make. So queen d7 makes sense. And, well, white's position is playing itself. Knight f6, check. gf. And just continue, right, with forcing moves. Queen h5 check. And it's actually close to mate. Oh, it's not mate. But this square is taken, this is taken. This is the only square available. And queen f7, well, it's possible, but do you see what black undefended with this move? It's this one. So I simply win. Like king e7, take, here. Oh, actually, sorry, I missed something. I apologize. The point is with king, this is forced because the king has to defend the queen. The line I showed is wrong, actually, sorry. It's rook e1 check. And the king has to leave the defense of the lady, and we just take a full queen. Forget about the rook. That wasn't a good idea. This winning a queen is slightly better. Okay, so black has to be careful already. Black is dead lost already, but he can be careful and lose. King e7, and I'm thinking, okay, what to do? I actually, in my notes, I'm saying I spent half an hour. I wouldn't spend a half second today. But back then, that's what I did, deciding between rook e1 or knight c5. And I went for the second best rook e1. Now, knight c5 is plus 11, according to Stockfish, and rook e1 is plus 9, which means I really shouldn't. I shouldn't take a second. Just rook e1, of course, it's more human, it's fine. So knight c5, I give a long line, queen f5, and rook e1 check, and blah, blah, blah. It's not important. Rook e1 is, and white is really winning. And he has to take. There's nothing else. Because now the discovery, right, having set this potential here for discovery, all knight checks are super deadly. Knight c5 would win the queen on the spot, but there's also knight f8. Maybe it works. Maybe knight g5 is good. Who knows, right? So he takes, and the rest is actually pretty simple. I'll just finish the game quickly. I think the only flashy moment was that sacrifice. So just play natural moves, bishop e2. By the way, let's do a count, right? Rook versus rook, bishop versus bishop, and against the queen, there is rook, knight, and bishop, right? If I did this right. Yeah. Which would be sufficient material, but the king is so weak on e6. Black has no hopes of survival. So the game ended, bishop g8, check, king d7. Moves are just flowing very naturally. Check here, and just bring all the pieces in, right? Check here. Well, you have to. Because if you go back, where can you go back? Well, there's only one square, king d8. And here the easiest would be just take, right? Already there's nothing to recommend. Well, the rook is hanging, but we don't even do that. There's check here, here. Checkmate. Okay, so check, he inserted here. And what would you do? What's a simple tactic? If you took a second, I'll continue. Check. Right. Notice that the bishop is pinned to the king, so he cannot take. Which means, sorry, bishop d6. Oh, I thought I played rook e7, which to me right now is very obvious, so I thought I played that. I actually just took. Okay, well, still good enough. Take, well, it's a very comfortable win. And here, I'll quickly finish. Black resigned. Because wherever you go, I'm playing queen c7. So, for example, king d8, queen c7 is checkmate. Okay, so nice game. I think I'm most proud of the sacrifice, which is kind of standard. On e6, you just explode your pieces and fireworks start. And I've made this kind of sacrifice more than once. If black doesn't know what they're doing, it's a bit difficult to defend. But since then, of course, black has found ways to equalize in this opening. That's all. Hope you enjoyed it. And we'll try this in your games, right? It's an older line that most black players will not know. So hope your sacrifices turn out as good as it did in this game.